Were you ever a Sports Nation guy growing up on ESPN?
No,
Never watched Michelle Beadle?
no.
No? That shocks me. I thought for sure you'd be a Sports Nation guy.
I avoided all ESPN shows.
Why?
Couldn't tell you.
What were you doing in your formative years?
I was on LimeWire.
Yeah, that tracks. Makes
Mhm.
sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, then my opening to this really flopped, but I was a big Sports Nation guy, as everyone here could assume. Anyways, BYU TV Sports Nation. That's the connection I'm trying to make here. BYU TV, one of our favorite programs. They do a bunch of great content every single week in show form for BYU TV, but interviews as well. They've had some of our favorite BYU players and coaches on the program this year. So shout out to BYU TV Sports Nation. They had an interesting BYU basketball conversation yesterday that I listened to and thought about and really fought myself on what my answer is. I need you to help steer me and let me figure out my take here because this was all about the idea of BYU having two players that end up in the top 10 in college basketball next year in scoring in terms of points per game. And I don't know the host name here. I apologize. But the host of this BYU TV Sports Nation show basically framed this up by saying if you look at Bart Torvik's scoring projections for next year, AJ DeBonsa is projected to be the eighth best scorer in the sport, average 18.4 points per game. Richie Saunders is projected to be the 19th best scorer in the sport at 16.9 points per game. Two of the top 20 scorers in the sport, that seems very feasible. But the way this host framed it, after looking at those numbers and where Torvik projects them, the host asked his co host and said, is it realistic that BYU could have two players crack the top 10 in points per game in college basketball? And again, I apologize. I don't know their names, but the co host immediately responded, was like, yeah, obviously it is. Richie Saunders is Richie Saunders, and AJ DeBonce is a freak. So I want to go through this as well. I want your thoughts on this. Is it plausible that both Richie Saunders and AJ DeBonce could be top 10 in terms of points per game in college basketball this upcoming season?
Can I put you on the spot?
I'm scared.
I just kind of do you by chance know what the top 10 in scoring looked like in the country last season?
I will look it up for you right now.
Okay, because my immediate answer to this question is yes, for what it's worth. But I'd be very interested to know like what the 10th guy in the country average. Was it like 18?
Let's find it.
Thank you, Gregory. I don't say it enough, but I love you.
There were three players tied for 10th in points per game last season at 20.5 points per game. It was Tajay Kelly from Charleston Southern, Nick Martinelli from Northwestern, and Lamar Wilkerson from Sam Houston State. 20 points per game was the bar, all the way down to 20th on the list. So, contrary to Bart Torvik's projections here, that have AJ DeBonsa averaging 18 a game this year and Richie Saunders averaging 17 a game this year. If last year's points per game leaders hold true this year, 18 would not even crack the top 50 in the country. So that is a little mathematical, I guess, footnote on this. Shout out to you for raising this. If they are going to end up top 10 scores in the sport, they are highly likely going to be way ahead of these projections. 18 points a game and 16 points a game will undeniably not put them in the top 10.
I'm wondering too, because I'm looking at because it was CBK who did it. I wonder if it's only high major players in the projections.
Oh, this was off the graphic that CBK Report did.
I'm guessing because I saw a lot of people kind of aggregating that, but also they might have just been looking straight up at yeah, because they have Debance at 18.4 and Richie at 16.9, and that's the let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the top 22 in the country in scoring. but Richie was top 20. So they're both top 20. AJ at 18.4 and Richie at 16.9. But it's all high major players on there. But to your point, you're going to get some guys like a Lamar Wilkerson and Sam Houston State that are probably going to average up above that points. But I do think there is a world where among high major players that both these guys could be top 10 in scoring. I do think that's very feasible.
Okay. I'm going through now. I'm looking at numbers from last year. Cam Jones was the 10th leading high major scorer last year, 19.2 points per game. Ryan Kalkbrenner, 11th, 19.2 points per game. Dawson Garcia Cooper Flag, 12th, 13th, 19.2 points per game. So, like, again, even to crack the top 15 of this, you're going to have to be at 19 points per game. Like using, and I like using Torvik, all his fun little tools in the offseason for fodder for conversations like this. Those projections are just too low. Like if AJ's at 18 and Richie's at 16, they will not crack the top anything, whether we cut it by high majors or not. They're going to have to exceed those numbers. And it's not just BYU's players that the projections are low for. I would argue the projections are probably pretty low for everybody here. Like, there's some guys that it's not all that different than what they averaged last year, but like, there are players on this list who are going to average more than what Torvik projects. Martinelli's one I see at 18 a game. Martinelli last year averaged 19 a game. So he's going to take a scoring hit one more year at Northwestern. That seems unlikely. He's probably going to be at like 21, 22 a game.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess what all I would say is if you want to buy the argument you're saying, like, yeah, I think they could do it. The number is more like 21 a game each.
Right. And if that's the case too, you got to look at it like this. Like as you're going as because I'm scrolling through the list right now and I might have missed it, but to even find like teammates that are able to do this, like teammates scoring leaders, it's a very high bar to ask to have both in that realm.
It is. Which leads me to my conclusion here. There's no way this happens. And I'm like a BYU guy. You know this. I've been screaming about Richie Saunders' praises all offseason. Shout out to Richie himself. We just interviewed him yesterday on the channel. But like, what he averaged last year in conference play when Richie really got cooking, 17.9 points a game.
Mhm.
He for the season he was at 16 a game last year. So with DeBansa and Rob Wright in the fold, we need a leap from Richie by like 5 points to get into this conversation. That doesn't seem all that likely. And if he does leap by 5 points, then it probably means AJ isn't.
Mhm.
And it's okay to say that, right? Like we could say they're two of the top 30 scorers in the sport, and I would buy it. But like the top 10 is pretty much, you look at the guys on this list from last year, right? The top 10 scorers in the sport at the high major level are guys who are by themselves. I mean, literally, let me go through this. Eric Dixon, who was his second best player? PJ Haggerty, Marcus Burton, Nick Martinelli, Bryce Williams. The only guy on this list anywhere who was playing with somebody good is Trey Kaufman-Rent. And he was playing with the best passer in America, so it made sense. But Trey Johnson by himself. Dylan Harper, other than Ace Bailey, pretty much by himself. And Ace Bailey wasn't even on this list last year. So I don't know, man. I think this is kind of just wishful dreaming, honestly. Not even wishful thinking. This is just like, yeah, these players are good
Wishful
enough.
dreaming's a bar.
Well, the players are good enough, right? But it's just, there's no logistical way this could happen, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And if it does, I would argue it probably means bad things for BYU, as
Yeah.
crazy as that sounds, because there's too many other good players we're not even mentioning here, right? Like Rob Wright needs to score a little bit. Like we want to share the wealth. If this team lives up to its fullest expectations, it's not a team built around DeBonsa and Saunders playing Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper every night, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair.
So where do you think this ends? What do they average?
I think AJ's around 18 a game, and I probably put Richie right at 16 again.
That's where I'm at. I actually think the Torvik projections are probably on par for these guys. It's just if those are the numbers they hit, they will not meet this expectation.
I think that AJ, Rob Wright, and Richie Saunders will be the highest scoring trio in the country, though.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. I don't think there's a trio that outscores them.
That sounds like a topic for next week.
Why not?